talk about in this section what is seemingly a contradiction to most of us, but actually what it makes successful people succeed, particularly elite athletes, successful athletes, but even in business. But I'll keep the theme towards sport, because that's the focus of this series. So the contradiction. First part of the contradiction, that's to be truly successful, you need to be obsessed with the outcome. Right? Obsession means you really focus on that outcome and achieving it, even though you're not sure and you don't know what it's going to actually take to get there. You've really pinned your future on success and achieving what you want to achieve. It goes beyond effort. It makes you, it almost gives you an expanded awareness of what needs to be done and all the things that you know at the present time that need to be taken care of for you to succeed, and knowing that there's going to be things that you need to learn and grow and discover along the way if you are going to succeed. It's a recognition that there's probably thousands of people out there that are better than you at the present time. And you need to go on a journey to learn those things as to why they're better than you, and then action those and go through a transformation to become that person that's going to succeed at the end of the day. It is not about the learnings and just knowledge store. It is about execution, but it is also very much about discovery. It is not blind obsession. It's attaching yourself to something and putting value to it, so it actually pulls you along rather than you pushing for it. It is about the detail. It's about knowing this detail that you don't know. There's knowing there's habits and behaviours that you are going to have to change if you're going to get there and you're going to achieve that result. So it really pushes everything else aside when you're obsessed. Obsessed means you're really focused on achieving that result, and nothing else counts. And you're almost saying, "I have to succeed in that to get there," and that is obsession. Right? So it's a recognition as well that every action has meaning, and when you action something, it's got to add value towards where you're going. So, for instance, in terms of sport. Every session that you do will have purpose, and you'll focus on the key benefits and how you get that purpose out of that session. So if it's, for instance, strength building, you go into the session really activated, and you want your muscles to burn so if there's breakdown, so when you recover you get stronger. And going in with any less of that, it's not worth doing the session. So you really need to focus on achieving that, or don't do the session, do something else that's going to add value. It is really about focus, knowing the objective of what you're doing each and every day and each action you're taking towards that goal, and actually hitting that mark. So it's also looking at the whole picture. So when we train, a lot of people think it's just about the effort. If I keep pushing, if I keep putting in the effort, I'm going to get there. That is not going to get you there. That's going to make you tired. It's going to push you in one direction. It's looking at the detail around it is what's going to make that training effective and achieve the results. So training's not done until the recovery after the training is done, because the recovery is where we get stronger. And that's just one example. So if you go to training, when you exit that session, you're thinking, okay, now I've tired myself, I've created a stress, I've got muscle breakdown. Now, what is the recovery I need to actually make that effective? So how much sleep do I need? What's the nutrition I need to make that transformation in my muscles happen? Even with the aerobics, is how much rest do I need for the aerobic system to now recover and actually be stronger on the other side? It's technique. Endurance sports is about efficiency at the end of the day. It's about going at a certain speed for longer and not slowing down. So effectiveness of how far we can go counts. So being efficient in terms of technique, not having wastage in your stride and your stroke, getting the most power effort put in, and then being able to keep that going for longer, having the strength so muscles don't shorten. It's all technique stuff that needs to come into there. And far too often I see athletes, they turn up at the pool or at the track, and they've got these ineffective actions. It might be crossing over in a swim, it might be their hip sinking, and when approached, they say, how do we fix that? I've been swimming like that for years. I'm not going to be able to change it. It'll be a waste of time. No, you can't do that. It's everybody can change those habits. Everybody can tweak their stroke, their stride, move away from a foot landing in front of you to underneath you. It might take time, it might take focus, and it might be a progressive change. But if you're going to succeed in the longer term, that's what needs to be done. Attention to detail. And obsession is not going to let those little 1%ers go. Those small things that you think aren't going to change. Obsession means you're going to change those things you notice. As soon as you know you're incompetent at something, you'll go through those stages of moving to conscious competence through practice and eventually getting to unconscious competence. Really, if you look at some of the examples out there, the attention to detail, the Federers, the Williams, Fredinos, Daniela Reef, their focus on all of those in detail and getting there is really, really important. So where's the contradiction? You've got your goal, you become obsessed with it, you're driving towards it, you know there's a journey, you know you've got a lot to learn, behaviours, habits to change, fitness to gain, technique to fix. Now, the contradiction comes in that you need to be grounded. Whatever we do in success, whether it be in business or in sport, it's only part of your journey. So if you put everything into that, you've got to get something out. When you succeed, where is it going to go? What is it going to get you? And how is it going to take you forward and make you a better person, more fulfilled? And it's generally going to be the other sectors in your life. So when we actually go through the journey of sport or business and we're successful, at the end of the day, we get something out of it. So I see it for myself as the learnings I get from it, the habits and behaviours I build out of it, plus my fitness. But that will actually come back home into my family, my friends, and it becomes, I become fulfilled as an example to others. I bring those solid habits and behaviours which contribute to other areas in my life. So that's where the grounded piece comes in. You live in the now when you're grounded. It is all about what am I doing now. You can't define, you can plan the future, but you're not there yet, so you can't do anything about it. The past is the past. If you're carrying baggage from the past, that's literally all it is baggage. You need to recognise that what has happened in the past is purely learnings and feedback, and you can't go back and change it. These terrible things might have happened. You might be struggling. You might have made bad decisions in terms of your fitness, your health, etc. But what we focus on is now and moving forward. So we use every moment at home. We spend time with our kids and our family and quality time. Quite often I see athletes that train themselves on Saturday morning into the ground, and their time with their kids is really sitting in the couch exhausted. No, quality time with the kids means quality time. It's time spent in laughing with them. It's time spent in experiencing things with them. So when you're at home with the family, spending time with them, you're living in the now. Your attention's on them, not what I could have done or what I should be doing in the next training session. Same as business. You go into work, you work for 8 hours. Seems to be more nowadays, so 10 hours or so. The focus is on that. So you always live in the now. You're grounded. You experience life with all the people around you. When you're training, you're training. Maybe you're training with friends as well, but you experience that. But what I'm saying is, when you're training, you focus on the now and what you're doing then, and you get the absolute most you can out of your training time. And when you're training, you get the absolute most you can get out of your family. When you work, you contribute and influence as much as you can. So it's that living in the now, bringing back the example of the great tennis players, Federer and Serena Wilson. You can actually see that in them. Federer's not just a tennis player. He's made millions and millions of dollars from his businesses. He's associated with tennis because he's got the reputation, but he has a strong focus as a businessman as well. And you can see when he spends time with his family, he's generally with his kids, with his wife, absorbing them. And you can see even, he's got a fun factor to him. When he goes to exhibition matches you see him experiences with his friends, etc. He's laughing. He can have fun as well. And it's the same with Serena Williams. Usain Bolt is another one. They've got a fun factor to them, and that's important. So they absolutely, all those guys live in the now. When they're training, but they're so much more than that. They have that rounded experience. And that's the general approach of the perennial athletes, successful ones. Even in business, it's the same. You get some people who work 12 hours a day trying to get forward in business. But they don't necessarily end up happy or successful or well-rounded individuals. There's a lot of businessmen who spend as much time in adventure as in business, and those are generally the perennial people who are really happy. So the contradiction is, first of all, be obsessed with your goals, whether in business or on the field, but also be obsessed in achieving other areas of your life, and just make sure they don't overlap each other. So you get a sustainable way forward on all of them, but you're obsessed with all of them and finding a way to actually lead the way in all of them and change habits and behaviours. Any barriers that come up, if you're obsessed with the outcome, you'll find ways around them. You'll find a way to get past them, even though you don't know them and it seems impossible at the present time. Not being obsessed means you're just going to tick away the boxes. What people normally do, turn up for their normal training sessions, whether it be in a club or a squad, do that, and hopefully you'll get there. If you're not obsessed with the outcome, the significant change is not going to come. Probably the last thing to close that up, you've got to have a why, a reason why you're doing things, and a strong reason why you're doing things. A reason that you can cry about. When you succeed, you should have a tear in your eye. And not only when you succeed, but for months afterwards, when you think about it, you should have a tear in your eye, and it's cry-worthy. Quite often, it's to see athletes going towards a goal. Ironman's a good example, where everybody else is doing it, so I'll do it. Now, when they get there, it's okay, I've done that. What's next? And they get the Ironman blues, because it wasn't actually a really valuable goal that they were obsessed about and want to achieve. There's probably more that actually should have pinned onto that and maybe got a better result. But really looking for that outcome. If it's not an obsession, then it's a pastime. And it's okay to have pastimes. It's okay to have things to move you forward and not be obsessed about it. But I reckon everybody should have something that's cry-worthy in their lives, something that they are obsessed about, that they're driving towards. Otherwise, what's it all about? Are we just ticking along day by day, just moving through life and not really looking for the thing that's going to fulfill us and help us influence others towards a better cause. In all of this, as you can see, you've got three sectors. You've got your home life, home and friends and family. You've got your work life, and you've got your own sports, hobbies, pastimes, and those got to interplay. And that's where I see you need to have a really good set of values. And what I suggest for everybody to do is actually go through and write down and work out your values. The values that are holding you back, the values that you hold dear to you that are moving you forward. And this way we can actually say, particularly when, for example, with our sport, discipline is a value. If we're not valuing that discipline, we're not getting out of bed in the morning, we're not putting our focus and attention on the work that we're doing in our sections, and we're not executing well, that's poor discipline. And maybe we need to sort that out. is sustainability. That what we want to do now should not be creating health issues for later in life. So if we're having loads and loads of sports drinking in everything we do, or really pushing ourselves to the limit and not recovering, and we've got injuries that we're just pushing through all the time, making them worse all the time, and not really taking care of them, but still keeping going to see how long we can last. Those are not good habits. So sustainability has to be a value where we're improving ourselves and not breaking ourselves down, just trying to prove something to ourselves that is not going to add value later. So we go through values, those that are really pushing us forward, are helping us move forward. We identify values that maybe are holding us back. Maybe values that saying, that you don't want to discredit anybody else. You don't want to appear better than everybody else because that's rude. That's not fair. That's not the right thing to do in our society. That's bullshit. If you want to move forward, you can be the best. You want to be the best person you can be. Yes, you don't want to go out and evangelize about it and boast, but you still want to improve yourself. So if you've got those values that saying, I don't want to be faster than my mate down the road because that will embarrass him more. I don't want to be faster than my spouse because that's going to hold you back, and it's maybe that's playing out in other areas in life as well. That you just want to be the underdog all the time, and you need to get rid of those or move past those values if you want to be the best you can be at that certain aspect. So working through values is a process you can go through called value solicitation, where you look at your current values, you break it down, and you have a critical look at all of them and decide which ones are holding you back, which ones are taking you forward, and what values you actually need to add if you want to succeed. Like the discipline values, sustainability values, the growth mindset values. And you look at those, you can actually start working out kind of what's holding you back, what's moving you forward, and what you need to what you need to add to the mixture. At the end of the day, now you can have coaches and mentors who can guide you. They provide a recipe book, a recipe for how to actually get results. End of the day, similar to a baker, you still have to make that cake from that recipe. And a recipe is not going to describe exactly how to blend everything, how to mix everything, the timing, exact timing, the differences, because everybody's different, that it might apply to you. You need to work that out yourself as well, maybe with discussion with the coach, but you have to take responsibility. And it's there, the obsession is going to drive you through those differences and help you get those refinements and the details to actually execute. So think about that. It's one, you need to be obsessed about the outcome. You need to be obsessed about something if you want to go forward. And it's a good idea to be, but make sure you've got the value system to protect and make sure you're playing on an even playing field with the rest of your life, and making sure you're still keeping a balance across things, and you can bring your success back home to where it counts. All those habits and behaviours you develop on the sports field through that success, you want to see those add value elsewhere in your life. You want to see that there's a glory status to it, financial gain to it, that there's something you can actually bring home. So you're working yourself in business to become a billionaire, and you look around and there's nobody to actually that you relate to, you can give it to. Steve Jobs, for example, at the end of his career, he was saying he wished he spent more time in life rather than moving everything forward from a technology status. So food for thought. Next session we'll move on to the reality of actual training, but I thought I'd just give that highlight around what makes the focus that makes successful athletes. You can go the whole hog right up to the Federer, with the focus and the elite wanting to be the best in the world, or you can take it to just be the best at your next, in a year, achieving a goal of a park run under a certain time. End of the day, to get the best results, you need to be obsessed about what that target is. Apply the reality of values of how that's going to play out in your life and how it's going to add value in the rest of your life, and then decide how you're going to act on that. That way, you get the best result, less waste, more gain, and more fun.